I'm Giles. I'm from a non-profit arts organisation called Proboscis. Over the last 15 years, or possibly slightly more, I've been involved in a number of projects which are very much about rethinking the nature of communication and designing actual communication platforms and tools as part of that. So about 15 years ago we were involved in developing what would now be called a proto-social media site that was very much looking at the relationship between people, place and network technology. A lot of our work as artists collaborating with people has ended up kind of involving weaving social media into the kind of sort of wider social and cultural activities that we do with people. There was a project we did in a ward in Sunderland where we were invited to work with a community who wanted to set up what we were thinking of as a sort of a knowledge hub. And this was very much in response to the withdrawal of a lot of benefits and the kind of scaling back of the welfare state a few years ago. And we were doing this as part of a large EPSRC funded research project into trust and trusted systems. One of the things we found working with this community, which is very, very high poverty, very low educational attainment, multi-generational unemployment, post-industrial complexities around people's ability to kind of change their situation. Into this is thrust new technologies, and one of the things we were able to identify through anecdotal evidence from the people themselves was that social media was being used specifically to groom young women into drugs and essentially child sex. So this is a very problematic area. So we had to, although the community wanted us to help them build social media that would have positive effects, we spent an awful lot of time trying to think, before we do anything, we need to understand the potential of the damage and the harm that people could unintentionally do by sharing knowledge that they have. Because the problem is, as we all have discussed today, social media is online. Most of it's accessible to almost anyone, including all the criminals. So it's very complex. And this is happening, and people are aware of it happening in their community, and they have very little that they can do around it. So there are some incredibly complex social conventions, social activities that are being played out, in which social media is just one of many different routes to harm and damage. And when you're working with communities in a participatory fashion, one of the things we have to temper is our own enthusiasm for what the potential huge benefits that these technologies can bring, with the very real danger of harm that can be committed, not by anyone even involved in the project we're doing, but as a sort of a second or third order impact long after we've gone, and long after the people who are involved in the project we're doing have moved on to whatever it is that they're doing. So this becomes a really important way of thinking about both the positive things we can do with social media, and one of them is to actually not use it where there is even the merest hint that some kind of negative output could be, and to explain why we wouldn't use it and why this needs to be part of the whole process. Part of social media is also deciding when not to use it.